Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu 5 and I thought I'd show you my Schrade knife collection. I'm not a big fan of Schrade as they are right now. I think they made some cool knives back when they were made in America, and that's not necessarily a political thing, but it's just those are the knives I'm more or less drawn to. And just to show you that that's not the rule, it's just a preference. This knife was made in America and I absolutely hate it, but I kept it for nostalgic sake. What happened today was, by the way, this is my 1000th video. I couldn't do anything epic because of our situation that we're in, but I decided to show you my Schrade collection. But what happened was I was looking for my Herbertus picnic knife. And after realizing that I've probably sold the Herbertus on eBay because it's no longer in my possession, I missed my Herbertus, and I'm now shopping for a new Herbertus knife. Anywho, in the process of cleaning and tearing apart and cleaning my room again, looking for the Herbertus, I found this knife. This is the old-timer gun stock trapper. What's interesting about it is not only is it a slimmer trapper than normal, has the iconic California clip point, because it looks like the Californian state, but that's what that's called, California clip. Not only does it have that, but it has a lionel lock made out of brass. And I don't know if you can read it, but it says press on it. See where it says press? But anyways, I was looking at this knife and I wanted to find more information on it. And this knife is kind of difficult to track because it was made off and on throughout its production life. And what I mean by that is it was made a little bit in the 70s, a little bit in the 80s, a little bit in the 90s. But it'll be introduced and discontinued and reproduced off and on throughout Schrade's life, or old-timer's life. And so, you know, it didn't have a continuous run of production. Anywho, I thought it was kind of interesting, and I wanted to track down the rest of my Schrade knives. This one has a Durlin handle, like a lot of traditional knives that don't want to use real wood, bone, or antler. And the only bad thing about this knife is the actual locking mechanism. If you're using it really hard, that locking mechanism, that lionel lock, is going to dig into your finger. This knife, on the other hand, was given to me by my stepdad when I was young, and this has a nice drop point combo edge, plastic thumb stud, and I wanted to point out in this older knife that it said press on the lionel lock, and guess what? This one does too. It says press. So Schrade, old-timer Uncle Henry, has a long tradition of telling you how to close the knives, because apparently we can't figure it out. But the big selling point to this knife was, and this is a cheap knife, is that you can clip it to your belt loop or to a pack and have it dangling, and then when you want to use the knife, you just grab the knife, press the button with your pinky, and it removes itself from its clip. So you can clip it on both sides. This is a Cliffhanger 7. I think the 7 is the drop point, but I'll show you the tang stamp. CH7 clip hanger, and when you want to use it, just press that and pull, and you got your knife. Now this knife is a terrible knife in my opinion. Don't know the blade still, but just check this out. You got up and down and side to side play, and it's a lionel lock, which I have nothing against lionel locks. I just like my lionel locks to be well done. And at this point, this is not a well done liner lock. It's pinned together. That's my cuckoo clock. Anyways, the big selling point is the clip and how you can easily remove it and reinsert it and clip it to stuff. But this is made in America, so it's before 2004. I can't remember exactly when I got it, but the knife that I really want to show to you is this knife right here. This was my step-grandfather's knife. He's no longer with us. We got a video of my brother sharpening this knife on the workshop, and this is a cool knife. It is the Schrade Walden, New York, USA 147. That's what the tang stamp says. I don't know if I can get it to focus. Those the tang stamp. And from what I've been able to gather, in 1946, I think, they added the USA to the tang stamp, and in 1973, they dropped the Walden off of the tang stamp. So it never. So after 1973, I think it didn't have the Walden on the tang stamp. But this is the 147. An awesome looking knife. This is a hunting knife. It would probably do good for sticking pigs and skinning. Although I think this is mostly made for skinning, and I'll get more to that later. But it's a cool knife. One of the most disappointing knives I ever bought was the SOG Bowie. I love the aesthetics of the SOG Bowie, but unfortunately it has finger grooves. And I'm going to demonstrate something to you. This has finger grooves, and on the SOG, my fingers landed on every single peak of the finger grooves. But with this knife, my hand fits just like a glove. I can hold it in a saber grip, hammer grip. Really bear down on it, and it feels comfortable. It's not the guard kind of rubs against me right here a little bit, but not too much. But you can really bear down on this knife and not have to worry about anything. There's a broad beak pommel, a legitimate pommel, and let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. Got a broad beak pommel that's pinned in, a Durlin handle scales made to look like stag, and you also found this knife with leather washers, a leather washer handle, which I do not like as much. I really prefer this Durlin, even though it's not real stag. It kind of gives it a more rustic look, and to me it's a better handle material than the leather washer. But something that you might not pay too much attention to is these grind marks on either side of this knife. It's ground smooth on that side, it's ground smooth on that side. What is that for? Well, that's for skinning game. You place your thumb and index finger on that, and that's what you use to, you pull the hide as you're cutting or separating the hide from the meat. And this is pretty much how you hold a knife. You don't really hold a knife like this and skin an animal. It doesn't work well like that, but you have these smooth areas right here, and that's how you skin an animal. And to show you that, well, one thing, this proves that this is not a new concept for knives. This is a very old knife. But to show you that it's not a out-of-fashion design feature, this is my brother's Lloyd Pendleton Mini Hunter, and it has that area right there molded into the craton. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There it is. So you got it right there, and that's what you use to skin the animal. And I got my own Pendleton Light Hunter, and it is also molded in right there where you can pinch it and grab it and cut. I also have a nice choil if you want to choke up on it. But yeah, a lot of people don't really pay attention to how they skin an animal, and most times or not, you're pinching it and you're skinning. And I just want to point out, you see this a lot on Lloyd Pendleton's customs and the cold steel production knives, that they have this cut out or this ground out section for your thumb and index finger, and it's not a new concept. Schrade was doing it way back in the day. Some other cool things I saw about this Schrade knife is that apparently the Canadians had a Canadian Boy Scout knife that was this model. That Schrade made this knife for the Canadian Boy Scouts. And I thought that was the most badass thing ever. I don't think the Boy Scouts or the Scouts are allowed to carry fixed blades anymore. And I don't even know if they're allowed to carry knives. They should be able to carry knives, but I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to carry fixed blades anymore. Unless they're like an Eagle Scout or something. I'm talking about the actual Boy Scouts. Yeah, that's just a kind of a quick history and discussion on the Schrade knives and this little feature right here that makes it on other hunting knives. And that's it. That's all I have to talk about. I really love this knife right here, and it's sharp. I'll demonstrate that to you. And instead of cutting the paper, I decided to rip it, and now it's kind of messing things up. Why do I have to make things difficult? Okay. That's more than one page. Let's see if I can do this behind the tripod. So there, it is a functioning knife. I need to treat this sheath with some conditioner and leather protectant. But that's my Schrade collection, and like I said, I have a video of sharpening this up on the workshop. I just thought I'd share this with you and have a little discussion, because I'm not going to be able to do anything too epic for my 1000th video, because life happens. So that's it. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.